In, I think it was 2018, you were diagnosed with a pretty advanced and aggressive form of cancer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it was February 2018 that I was diagnosed with a condition called stage 2A Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a form of cancer that attacks the lymphatic system in the body, which is connected to the immune system. So I still remember vividly like how it all came about. So it was 2017, New Year's Eve. I was in the car. My parents were driving me to a New Year's Eve party, and I felt like a lump in my neck.
Welcome to Coffee, Eggs and Inspiration. It's a weekly show that goes out over YouTube and as a podcast over all of the major channels. This week, I'm meeting with Suhit Amin, young social media entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Saulderson Media, which is a premium talent management and influencer marketing agency. So two sides to the business there. We'll get in and we'll talk about that. A background in eSports, started out as a gamer and ex-YouTuber. You built a channel, I think it was called ChainX. You had 37,000 subscribers playing various games, mostly around 5 Minutes at Freddy's, which is a horror-based game. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
In, I think it was 2018, you were diagnosed with a pretty advanced and aggressive form of cancer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it was February 2018 that I was diagnosed with a condition called stage 2A Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a form of cancer that attacks the lymphatic system in the body, which is connected to the immune system. So I still remember vividly like how it all came about. So it was 2017, New Year's Eve. I was in the car. My parents were driving me to a New Year's Eve party, and I felt like a lump in my neck. And I kind of brushed it off as if it was nothing, because when I was 4, I had a similar lump in my neck and they got cut out and it was nothing, no big problem. So I thought, oh, it could just be something like that. Then that lump in my neck just began to grow and like continue growing, just wouldn't go away throughout January, and more in my neck started forming. So I talked to my dad, who's a doctor. Dad was like, right, something's definitely not right here. So I went to get tested for it. After multiple tests throughout January and February is when I was diagnosed. And then I had chemotherapy for 6 months from March till September of 2018. And then in September, I was luckily put in remission. And since then, I've been generally fine and no real issues. I just get my every three months checkups, and things have all been smooth sailing from there.
Well, congratulations for coming out of it. I know the road hasn't ended yet for you. That must have been terrifying. You were, what, 16 years old?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed when I was 16 and had chemotherapy throughout when I was 17 years old. I remember having my second chemotherapy session was on my 17th birthday, which wasn't fun. But yeah, it was a weird time to spend my 17th birthday. So what was going through your mind? To be honest, when I first got it, it was like a state of shock, because I was just thinking, like, how's, a 16-year-old guy who's, fit and healthy, doesn't really, has never smoked and whatnot. And I stayed relatively healthy. I did sport and whatnot. I was like, how have I, who's lived a good life, nutrition and whatnot, got cancer all of a sudden? Like I always thought it was a bit surreal to me, because I was like, I always had my picture in my head. It's like when you get older and unhealthy, that's when you get cancer. So it was a state of shock, and I didn't really know how to process it at the time. I don't really know if I was sad or not, but I just couldn't believe it, to be honest. It was just disbelief. But after a while, that kind of disbelief changed, and my perspective really changed around the whole situation. So yeah, initially it was kind of like just disbelief for me. And how did that sort of state of mind link, if at all, to what you're doing now? I mean, you were 19 years old, just. We're filming in March 2021. About to turn 20, you've had a number of professional experiences. You've got your own business that's been very successful and still growing. Did the cancer have anything to do, the experience with cancer have anything to do with what you've done subsequently? Yeah, 100%. I think that experience was the biggest driver of what's happened in my life. So yeah, when I was diagnosed, and I was diagnosed in February, and obviously I was working for ESL at the time, doing influencer marketing. But for me, my ambition since I was like kind of 13 years old was to be a successful entrepreneur. And for me, like to inspire next generation of young entrepreneurs was always like kind of the story I wanted to leave and the legacy. So when I had this diagnosis and when I was having chemotherapy, my perspective really changed and my mindset shifted. And I thought that basically my cancer is one that's quite a high rate of curing after the first time. So, it's 85% chance, but my mindset was like, what if I'm in that 15%? Doesn't make it out alive. What if I'm not here in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years time? I want to go out of this world doing something that I'm really passionate about, really ambitious about, and follow my dreams and my goals. And that was, I say, to be a successful entrepreneur. So that was the main driver. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go for it right now. What's the problem? Why hold back? So that was when in June I left ESL and then was like, let's just launch my company in July 2018, see what happens, take the risk and take the action right now in my life. And honestly, it did so much better than I ever expected within the first 6 months. And then from there, it's just been a crazy journey that's honestly changed my life. So as much as cancer was terrible, had obviously a huge benefit for my mindset and change my perspective on life completely.
Tell us a little bit more about the world of influencer marketing.
Yeah, so we're kind of a bit in both. So how essentially we work is, as I say, we've got two sides of the business. We have our talent management strand, which is where we exclusively manage a roster of talent, and then we obviously have our influencer marketing agency where we work for the brands and we run campaigns for them, utilizing multiple influencers. In terms of where we stand, we keep our management kind of service very, very exclusive. So we only bring on people that we're truly passionate about and identify that they could be a really good fit for us. So whether that is a nano or micro influencer who we think has got really big potential to grow, we might want to bring them on, nurture them and help them get to there. Or obviously, targeting some of the bigger careers, obviously got a substantially large career already and we can kind of help channel that forward. So we're obviously in both sides, we don't really discriminate in that sense. If we see that potential and we think it's going to be a really strong fit between us and the relationship is good, then we'll bring them on and manage them. But we try to keep it very kind of exclusive. We don't take any applications. We'll reach out to people that we are really passionate about and we've created that relationship about and work with. Within the influencer marketing side, we work with all sorts of creators because obviously it's, our clients, whatever the sort of their budget is, whatever their goals are, we also have to tailor our strategy around that. And that means tailoring the influencers that we use around that, whether that's, the biggest gaming influencer on the planet, or it's whether that's, 6 really small, fashion and makeup creators for that specific brief. So we work all across the spectrum with all sorts of influencers. Gaming and eSports is still our kind of core, and the majority of the creators that we have in our database and our network and our exclusive talent roster are across gaming and eSports. But since at the end of 2019, we decided to try and diversify that out a bit and start working with other brands who are in the different space and other influencers. So now we're kind of have ourselves across all different sorts of aspects and verticals.
Right, and tell me an influencer or a set of influencers that you admire deeply, and you can't give me one that's already on your books. So think about British influencers. Who's on your,
Oh yeah, I've got it straight away. So the Sidemen are basically the UK's biggest influencers. It's like this group of 7 of them. They're like the OGs. That's like everyone looks up to them. So I've had the pleasure of working with them on the influencer side. They're not exclusively signed to us and on our books, but I've had the pleasure of working with a few of them, and it's just honestly, it's like a surreal experience. Like I have, Vic Starr. I don't know if you know him, and Rota Shaw. I talk to him on WhatsApp, and it's like it's mad. Like I'm talking to like two, the people that I watch and I've looked up to from being young. But yeah, they're like probably the biggest guys that I admire. And then there's another group of UK YouTubers as well that I watch who are very friendly with the Sidemen called the Beta Squads. And they're amazing as well. The quality of their content and the ideas that they come up with are insane.
Well, maybe if they see this, they'll be enamored and want to work more with you. I've noticed increasingly a collision between the world of music and the world of gaming. Is that something that you see as well? And could you give me your opinion on it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been a huge kind of collision between that. There's like, huge names that have been involved in gaming. Like, I don't know if you saw that, Ninja, one of the biggest Fortnite creators, had Drake, on a live stream with him, and that broke the internet basically. one of our creators called KDOS is really friendly with this American rapper called Ian Dior, who's like huge in the charts, and he plays Fortnite with him all the time. And then Marshmallow's like really big into gaming as well. So there's a big collision between gamers and musicians, and also obviously musicians are now kind of advertising across gaming content as well. We've had quite a few musicians reach out to us and through different agencies or directly who are wanting to advertise with our creators and get their songs out there with our gaming creators. And obviously Fortnite and Epic Games have just had a lot of huge collaborations with some of the biggest, like Travis Scott had an event and things like that. So there's it's huge potential. And obviously I think the big reason behind it why is because obviously gamers are going to be, you know, they're the ones that are inside consuming content, and also they'll probably be listening to music at the same time. And a lot of gamers do have like, you know, quite a lot large music tastes as well, and listen to music a lot from what the kind of stats say. So I think it makes a lot of sense from that. And I think music really just, I mean, musicians are also kind of influencers in themselves. I mean, we look up to musicians, and you know, we want to be like them, and you know, dress like them, and you know, have that lifestyle they have. So it makes a lot of sense for have that kind of crossover between musicians and influencers. And music's also been huge over on TikTok as well. TikTok's obviously very, very sound and music based, which has blown up a lot of songs and revived a lot of songs as well over the past couple of years while TikTok's been expanding.
Yeah, just little segments. And the Trevor Scott you referred to, that was a I think it was the Astronomical or
that was it.
Album. 3 live performances inside the gaming environment of Fortnite over the period of a week, 15 minutes each, I think they were. And over the course of those 3 concerts, 27 million people tuned in to watch that live. And it was an extra. I was one of those. It was a real extravaganza. And subsequently, of course, it's been watched. I haven't checked recently, but it's been watched back on YouTube. It's still available there. Probably it must be 200 million more times. Incredible. And he was wearing his, his Nike high tops, and you could buy Trevor Scott skins, and amazing. And that was because during COVID, he was supposed to be headlining Lollapalooza, and of course that was cancelled, like all live events in the last little while. Fantastic example there of the collision of those spaces, and I think it's only going to grow, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you for some advice. I mean, it's free advice. Well, I can pay you if you feel it's worth a fee. But I'm a small amateur YouTuber. I've got a channel. This is what you're appearing on at the moment. Any advice for me?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say really just be consistent with it, because there's some creators out there. I know, I've spoken to creators on podcasts and different things, and they say that, they've had to create thousands of videos before, they've really had that big break. A lot of people think that, they see these YouTubers who have got millions of subscribers, like, oh, I want to be like them, upload about 5-10 videos, like, why is it not working? Why am I not big yet? YouTube is such a grind. There are some creators that have been able to blow up because of, really crazy cool ideas. There's a guy called Iraq who was literally nothing before coronavirus, and now is blown up because obviously I did that Logan Paul video. So there are some instances where it's going to be, you can become successful overnight on YouTube, but other than that, YouTube is a grind. You've got to be really consistent, create that quality content, and put in the work and put in the hours. And a lot of people don't actually appreciate that. YouTube is a pretty difficult job, because if you think about the amount of planning, execution, ideation, filming, and everything that goes into creating this content for their viewers, a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into that, and people think, oh, it's really easy just to sit in front of a camera, play a couple of games, and make money. But to get that quality content and hit the algorithm and make sure it's perfect takes a lot of hard work. So just for anyone, or yourself wanting to go on YouTube, is just have that patience, and basically just continue creating quality content, and just always constantly improving your content, seeing what your analytics are saying, see what's performing well, and adapting your content around what is doing well in your analytics. Obviously focusing on what's going to be doing better, what your audience prefers, what they're watching more, and that's where you're going to see the growth. And I mean, a lot of people I can't even remember what the stat was, but to get that first 1,000 subscribers takes so much longer than getting that next 10,000 subscribers and then the next 100,000 subscribers. So once you pass those milestones, it's only up and up. So people obviously are always a lot disheartened when they're like, have such few subscribers, but it's getting that initial 1,000, and then from there it's just kind of all falls into place if you just continually keep going. Also, collaborations are obviously one huge thing, because obviously creators that work with larger creators who basically have such an easy way to kind of bring on from their audience.
Absolutely. Well, I think about 860 subscribers at the moment, so not far off the 1,000. But I know exactly what you mean, and I do quite a lot of work inside and outside of my day job with Zach and Jay from the Zach and Jay Show.
Well, really, yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. I love their stuff.
Awesome, right? Awesome.
I love their stuff. Yeah, I was talking to Jay the other day on LinkedIn because he was doing the thing about the inspirational people, and then obviously I was talking to Zach as well because he was looking for a sponsor for one of his videos. Their content is amazing. I love it.
I do too. I'll put a link below or some cards up here, or I can't work out which.
You were in a video, weren't you? You were in a video, weren't you? In the
Zach and Jay Show. Yeah, I took.
Was it the plane one or something? I can't even remember exactly. But you were in like I remember seeing this the other day.
And we went to your home country, of course.
Yeah, that was it exactly.
I said, come on, Jamie, we're going flying. I fly planes. That's one of my hobbies.
Yeah.
We took the plane up to the Highlands, and Jay came along and vlogged it the whole way. We had a great time. We landed in a place just north of Inverness called Easter, and flew along the Great Glen, over Loch Ness and Loch Lomond. Yeah. It's incredible countryside. But the point of the story is just to acknowledge that I see what these guys do outside that. They have these wonderful pieces of content, but there's a lot of planning. They're very entrepreneurial. There's a lot of planning that goes in, and they're really talented on screen. They're just interesting and enjoyable to watch as well. So there's a shout out, Zach and Jay. Hopefully they'll like that. Let's wrap it up. So you've done so much in such a short life. You may have some people watching this who are going through a cancer recovery or a recent diagnosis themselves. They may be university students like you, thinking about the future, or keen to get into the world of social media. Any advice, any top tips you'd like to leave them with?
Yeah, for young people, I think the stigma around young people wanting to get into business, a lot of people think they're too young to get involved. And I honestly think that this day and age and the world that we're in with digital and social media, you're never too young. You can start you can start hustling and start learning from such a young age. And for me, obviously the main kind of point that I always make from my cancer story is like, don't let something that happened in my life be the reason you take action in your life. Just go out and follow your dreams and ambitions, and it doesn't matter if you fail. You might fail 100 times before you have that success. Just keep plugging away and follow your ambitions and your passions, and you're never too young to do anything. And don't let anyone tell you that you're too young to follow your dreams and start something, because you never know where it's going to take you.
You never know where it's going to take you. What a wonderful high point to end on. Suhit Amin, thank you so much. You're an inspiration. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks very much for having me.